Welcome to Home Arcade Journey, and today we're going to be going over the Ultimarc's Ultrastik 360 ball top, shaft extension, and restrictor plate installation. Today I just received this ball top Ultrastik 360 joystick, and it's not the oval top or bat handle joysticks. The difference between the two is that the shaft on the bat style is a little bit thicker. So we're going to start off by taking off the 4 bolts on the bottom on the circuit board, and then we're going to be going and installing the stiffer spring and the restrictor plate on the joystick. Okay, now we've gotten all the screws out of the circuit board. We don't need to remove the circuit board, but I didn't find out about that until later. But we've taken all the screws out, and now we're going to take the circuit board out. Please note that it is the orientation of the circuit board when we're pulling it out. All the chips are on the side that faces the joystick. I'm going to set that over here. And then now we can see the joystick and the magnet underneath it. Next, we've gone ahead and flipped over the joystick, and we're going to start taking out the 4 screws that hold the joystick rod in place. We pull the plate off. Now we're going to lift out the joystick shaft assembly, separate it from the base, and we'll go ahead and start disassembling this. Please note this is a spring-loaded assembly, so when we start taking it apart, you're going to need to make sure to be careful that all the parts don't go flying all over the place. Maybe cover it with a rag. Okay, something to note here. Inside here is a E-ring or a C-ring or a snap ring, some people would call it, that holds the spring assembly in place.
It's in here, as you can tell, right on the end in here. So there's a snap ring that needs to come off and on. Once you release that, the thing's going to go all over the place. That snap ring, this is the extension shaft for the joystick. This snap ring goes around this slot. That's like snap rings do. They go into the slot to lock it in place. That locks the spring in there, and we have a new spring that goes in here that comes with the kit. Gives it, I think, a little more tension. I'm pretty sure you could probably reuse the spring, but let's see what happens. I'm gonna try and figure out how to get this off. Guys, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna pull the magnet off the end. See, it comes right off, pulls right off. It's a tight tolerance fit there. Just be mindful of that. It's up looking, you got a slotted end, very similar to this end here, to the extension. Okay, so now I just remove the snap ring and I'm going to release slowly. Very careful with each of these pieces to use their order. There we go. The original sleeve, the original shaft. Now we just replace it with this one. Okay, so now we're going to restack with the extension shaft. So first thing we do is we put this radiused do this with a camera. Put this on. You want to make sure that the sleeve end is facing the spring. That allows the spring to guide on top of it. And then this one, you have to put at the total opposite. This goes on, and then you have to be able to retract that to put your snap ring or your E-ring over that, in that channel, in that groove. So now I've gone and put the snap ring or the E-ring in back in the slot. You can push it in with your hand, or you can maybe use a rag and load it in there and snap it right in there. And then you put the magnet back on, which should slide right on. It's magnetic, it goes pretty quickly. Once that just naturally go on there. There we go. And then we're ready to put it back in the sleeve, back into the base. Sorry. And drop it right in here like this. And then we'll just restack it. Stack it back in there. Cover plate on, which maybe I should have gone and put this on top. I will deal with this later. This is your restrictor plate, but now we're going to take this, we're going to put on your board and start getting that put back on. All the 4 screws screwed back in. I've got my pins back where they're supposed to be, lined up with the plate, and marked it with my Sharpie. Now all I need to do now is put I gotta put it onto my arcade machine, which I'll do in a little bit. Show you the joystick. So this is the joystick installed in my control panel, and hope we don't catch anything. This is it installed and mounted. As you can see, I flipped the circuit board. Did fix that. And as you can see, inside here you got the magnet, and the circuit board's lit up, and it's detecting where the magnet is, which really is the key to the way this joystick works. As it moves around, it's able to detect where the joystick is on the circuit board. So pretty neat, excellent. I haven't installed the restrictor plate, which is next. I have to get in here and have to increase the diameter of that hole so this will fit in there. It's a little bit narrow. I can't quite get it in there compared to the diameter here. I'm going to go ahead and try and drill that out with a hole saw, hole bit, and see if I'm able to fit it in there and bolt it in there. It's not critical right now because right now it plays pretty good, but this will get mounted on the underside. It'll get sandwiched between the control deck, the control panel, and the joystick plate. And then this part here will be assembled on the top, where it can be positioned into an 8-way joystick like this. So that's the way that plate works. Pretty neat. Haven't really confirmed how well it plays, but we'll see in a few minutes just how good it is. I wanted to also show you the other joysticks that they have. One is the flight stick, U360 flight stick that I bought, and I originally had put this in my trilogy cabinet, and And it was really a pain to get it in there, because when you have to put it in there, you have to disassemble the whole handle to get it up through into the hole. I mean, you just imagine you got to get it into the hole, disassemble all this stuff, and then you have all the wiring that's shoved in here. And just give you an example, there's all this wiring that goes up through that shaft and up through there. You got to be very sensitive about and careful that you understand how it comes apart. Maybe we'll do another video that shows that. But eventually what ended up happening is I didn't have enough uses for using a flight stick on my cabinet, and so I went back to a joystick, regular joystick. So I ended up getting this oval type or bat type controller. When I got it, it was too short, because when you put it through there, it was like, it basically was sticking out from the top like only that much. It felt like I couldn't get my hand around it. So what ended up happening, I ended up getting that extension kit. Well, the extension kit was not for this oval type, it was for the round type. And the difference between the oval type and the round type is the shaft is thicker on the oval type than the round type, and so they're just not compatible, or at least I didn't see that they was compatible. Maybe somebody can comment on that. So I ended up getting the regular round ball type of U360, and that's what I'm using in this video to show you how to change the shaft out for a longer shaft, and later on we'll put in that restrictor plate with the stiffer spring. But as part of that order, I ended up also getting this extension shaft for the oval top. And this, as you can see down here, this will extend it up, I don't know, a 1/4 inch, possibly a 1/2 inch, maybe, looking down there, which will help. But right now I'm pretty happy with the round top. It seems to be functioning fine right now, and if I can get that restrictor plate in there, it probably run probably just as good. But just wanted to give you a little bit of background on the other controllers that we have from Ultimarc that you can put in your cabinet, and some of the pluses and minuses of using them, especially that flight stick, which is very specific. And if you have the ability to dedicate it to flight games like Afterburner or Star Wars, that's great. But other than that, you're not going to want to really use it for Donkey Kong and other things. It's very limiting. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take apart the joystick from the control panel, and then we're going to go ahead and drill the hole larger to allow for us to put the this plate in. And now we're going to put our restrictor plate in, and that fits great, snaps right in place. And then we're going to go ahead and put our joystick in, and that also fits into a recessed fit on the restrictor plate. And then we're going to pop in our screws. And now you can see how the joystick shaft looks with the restrictor plate on, very centered. Sits above the top a bit, only because the control deck is not 3/4 inch thick, and it looks great anyway. And next we drop in the 4-way, 8-way 2 halves fitting, and that basically restricts the movement of the joystick shaft to a 4-way or an 8-way direction. And you can see it right there, how it's got that diamond shape. Yes, it restricts it in a 4-way direction. And then you can pick it up and rotate it clockwise or counterclockwise, and it'll give you an 8-way direction. And now we're going to load up our coin ops next to So there you go, folks. Thanks for watching. This is how to fit your home arcade with the restrictor plate and the extension joystick, the extension shaft on your joystick from Ultimarc. I hope you enjoyed watching.